The truth is this: business isn't always pretty. Let me be the first one to tell you that right now. Sometimes it feels like you're barely keeping the business alive. But today I want you to know an important thing, and that is you are not alone. I know you may look around and think you are, but you're not. You see, I'm sharing these 5 points in today's video, not for any sort of pity, but because I believe these types of conversations matter. And it's time we just talk about them. At times, entrepreneurship is messy. Believe it or not, it can be downright painful. And yes, sometimes it feels like you're failing. But trust me when I tell you this: these struggles do not define you, nor do they define me. They come along our entrepreneurship journey to shape us, not to make us quit, but to make us stronger. If you like the content that I share in this video, leave me a comment about your biggest struggle. The reason why I want you to do that is so that other people can read it and understand they are not alone. There are other people that are in this fight right alongside them. If you want more real talk videos such as this one, if you truly want to build a sustainable business, hit the subscribe button because I want you to know this: we are in this thing together. Can we be real for a second and be completely honest about business, about running a business? Let me be the first to tell you, after 12 years of being an entrepreneur, this is one thing I know for sure, and that is running a business is hard. And lately, I've hit a point where business just isn't working the way it used to. Nothing seems to be really meeting my expectations. Now, most entrepreneurs would rather not discuss these points I'm about to cover today. But truth be told, it's time someone stands up and tells everyone that's aspiring to be an entrepreneur the real truth. You see, a lot of entrepreneurs would only rather show you their highlight reels, their launches, their huge moments in business. But today I am doing something totally opposite. I'm telling you the truth, the real truth, the unfiltered truth about why businesses, not only mine, but possibly yours, are struggling right now. So let's just get into it. Let's be real for a second. Running a business is extremely hard. I wish someone would have told me this 12 years ago before I got started into entrepreneurship. But there are certain lessons in life you must learn through experience, because another person's journey may not necessarily be yours. Well, like a lot of entrepreneurs this year, I too have hit a hard spot in the road. Yes, lately I've hit a point where my business just isn't working the way it used to. It's not even coming close to the way I thought that it would go by this point in the journey. Now, let me be honest with you. There are a lot of entrepreneurs that would rather not have this discussion that I'm going to be having with you today. They would rather you focus on their launches, their wins, their milestones. But today, we're going to tell the truth, the unfiltered, unadulterated truth about running a business. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's not always a happy time being an entrepreneur. And we are going to have this real discussion. Honestly, if I can be 1000% with you, as I always am, I know I'm not the only one. I'm just the one that's brave enough in this moment to tell you the truth. So if you've ever questioned whether you can become an entrepreneur, whether you should become an entrepreneur. And if you are currently an entrepreneur and you're questioning whether or not you should keep going, maybe you're wondering if you're the only one who's feeling like this in their business. I'm here to tell you, you're not the only one. You are truly stronger than you give yourself credit. But the problem is you're in a crossroads right now. And I'm here to help you find the right place that you need to be and the right things you need to focus on. Stick with me. We're going to get through this together. And I'm going to cover just a few points to help you look at things just a little bit differently and to shine the light on some important points that those aspiring entrepreneurs out there must come to terms with. So let's get started. You're probably saying, 10, what is the number one thing that a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling with right now in their business? Let me raise my hand high in the sky and tell you exactly what that number one thing is based on my experience and conversations I've had with more seasoned entrepreneurs. Whether you're in the beginning of your business or the end of your business life, I'm here to tell you the number one thing a lot of people struggle with has everything to do with what the OJs said. Was it the OJs? Yeah, it was the OJs. They said, money. Yes, money. Money is one of the number one reasons entrepreneurs find themselves stuck between a hard place and a rock, or a rock and a hard place. However you want to say it, is money. The financial side of running a business is a crucial component of entrepreneurship. It's the number one thing that determines if that business is a success or if that business is in serious financial trouble. A lot of entrepreneurs have no clue about cash flow. They have no clue about residual income. They have no clue about what now everybody's calling passive income. They're just following whoever's talking the loudest and not having any education when it comes to the money in a business. A lot of them are faced with inconsistent income. A lot of them are faced with underpricing their products and services, and in certain cases, overpricing those things. I'm telling you, it's a plethora of things that can go wrong in a business, but one of the number one things deals with money. For me, early on, one of the biggest problems I faced was, or should I say the biggest mistake? It was either way for me. My biggest mistake was relying too heavily on one stream of income. Yes, I know I'm not the only one. When if you don't know, you don't know. And in the very beginning, I did not know. But I was putting all of my eggs in one income's basket, not realizing that in the end, I was going to end up losing way more than I had bargained for. So trust me, do not rely on only one stream of income. Even if that stream of income seems to be strong and it seems to be doing over 90% of your business, it is the reason why you are still in business. Do not solely rely on just one stream of income. The truth is this: most small businesses don't fail because the product or the service is bad. They fail because the money management within that business wasn't sustainable. No one in that business knew anything about controlling the money. They knew it was coming in, but they weren't managing or knowing what was going out. And a lot of people depend on other people to control the financial sector of their business, not knowing that a lot of people could steal money right from under your nose because they know you don't honestly know what's going on in your business. Don't let this be your story. Diversify in your business. Just like you do in investments, make sure in your business you have more than just one stream of income. Trust me, you will thank me later, and your bank account will thank you too. Let's move on to point number two. Point number two. Wow, this one right here is a big one. It was a big one for me, even up until recently. And it may be something you're also going through as an entrepreneur. Number two has everything to do with the burnout factor. Yes, indeed. Let me be the first to tell you, burnout is real. I used to think that working harder was the solution to everything in my business. If I just hustled more hours, if I said yes to more clients, if I just pushed through the exhaustion, things would finally click in my business. Let me be the first to tell you, no, that was not the answer. It actually caused me to start to resent certain portions of my business. And I don't want that to happen to you. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Don't close your eyes to the obvious. And let me tell every entrepreneur this. If you ever run into that tough client, you know the one that runs your blood pressure up, the one that gives you more gray hair than you started out with before working with them, that client, that customer. Don't be afraid to fire your clients/customers. It is okay because some customers and certain clients just aren't worth the headaches that they may be causing you, especially if they're not a teachable or a listening client. Do yourself a favor, entrepreneur, and you've heard it from me first. It is okay to say no, even if that client is a paying client. If they are causing you burnout, if they're causing you to feel overwhelmed, it is okay to fire that client. Back to the story I want to share. Early on in my business, I got so caught up in being everything for everyone. I wanted to be the CEO, the marketer, the promoter, the customer service rep, the content creator. Then it got to a point where all of those hats became very heavy on this head. And it caused me to lose my joy in the one thing that used to bring me so much peace and tranquility. I got to a place where I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I had to go back, sit down, and remember why I started entrepreneurship in the very first place. You see, burnout isn't just about being tired. That's a misconception that a lot of entrepreneurs have. Burnout is about losing your drive. It's about losing your clarity. It's about disconnecting from your very own creativity. And honestly, doing any of those things is more dangerous to any business. So, as an entrepreneur, be careful. Recognize the signs of burnout. And as soon as you see it, address it head on. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever faced burnout? Are you in a certain stage of burnout right now? Leave me a comment below and let me know because burnout has a tendency to creep up on you. And if you're not careful, it will consume you. Now, the next point I want to bring up has everything to do with the social media changes. Yes, that God-forsaken algorithm that everybody's been hit by at one point or another. Listen, I have been there. I have did a video and that video just skyrockets. You get thousands of views. Next thing you know, that video fizzles out, you drop more content, and you just find it very hard, if you ever reach the pinnacle of the success of that video. It's like you're working harder, you have bought extra equipment, you have done collaborations with other people. You just can't seem to break through this wall of the algorithm. You have gotten to the point you don't even know what these platforms want anymore. I understand. I am with you. And as an entrepreneur, the changes on social media can make you feel like pulling your hair out sometimes. But don't. Don't do it. Hang in there. There are just certain things on social media we cannot control. I get it. Sometimes your videos are going to fall into the valley of crickets, meaning you're not going to see anything. You're going to feel like 20 is a good number for you. I'm talking about 20 views, okay? Maybe just 20 subscribers. And sometimes you may go to bed on one number of subscribers on YouTube in particular and wake up and half of those people are gone. They just vanished. You don't know what happened. All of these things are part of the algorithm. I know it's bad. I know it sucks, but it's okay. And I know for others, you're going to say, but 10, my reach even disappeared. So you may think, I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to quit. I know how you feel. I'm right there with you. I understand. And sometimes when these changes occur, it becomes very, very tough to bring in new customers. And it makes you think that your hard work is in vain. But trust me, you've only just begun. This is just a part of the journey. But I wanted to shine attention on this because you may face this in entrepreneurship. I'm telling you, the hardest part of all of this sometimes is realizing that the control of these platforms are not in our hands. They don't belong to us. And sometimes you have to shout and hallelujah and be extremely excited for your wins. And even when those losses sneak in there, be thankful for those as well, because it's showing you that maybe it's time in your journey to do what I'm doing now, and that's pivoting. So don't be afraid of the changes, because if there's one thing I know for sure, being on these social media platforms, if there's one thing you can count on, that's change. Always. It's always going to change. Now, this next one is a little bit personal for probably all of us that's going to see this video. And I'm referring to the lack of support. Many of you have large families. You may have many coworkers that you know, people in your neighborhood even. And you may tell them, hey, I'm a content creator, or I'm an entrepreneur and here's my business card. You may go to event after event, conference after conference, hoping that collaborations are just in your future, in your near future. But you may soon realize that although it seems that you've done your part, not a lot of people are coming around to support you. I know that feeling. But I'm here to tell you, entrepreneurship in itself can be very isolating. Friends and family may not understand what it is you do, honestly. They may not even care about what you do. They may even question whether or not you are serious about what you do. And in certain cases, they may even question whether or not you are qualified to do what you're saying that you're going to do in your business. You see, in entrepreneurship, there's a huge risk. And there's also this thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And I'm talking about your mental health. Yes, entrepreneurship will definitely impact your mental health. And at certain times, it may feel like you spend a lot of your time starting over from scratch. You tried one thing and it failed, and you tried something else and it failed. And it will put you in a mental state of even questioning your own ability, your own qualifications. But I'm here to tell you, slow down, take a deep breath, and realize that even when things aren't going quite well, things may even seem harder than you set out for them to be. Know this, you are not alone. One of the best things I can tell you to do if you are right there in that place and you're lacking support is find like-minded individuals that are in business, that are going along the road or have already crossed the road or in an area where you want to be, and connect with them. Now, this may mean you may have to invest to be in the room where they are. But then this is where you have to decide, how important is that business you're trying to build to you? If it's worth the investment, then get around those like-minded individuals that's going to help educate you, to help you get along your journey just a little bit easier. So here's what I want you to do. If you are an individual that feels you're just not getting the support that you expect or that you actually crave during this part of your journey, Connect with me and the people that are going to see this. Find the people in your industry, connect with them. Don't be afraid to collaborate. Please, above all, don't be afraid to pick up a book that's going to educate you about the next stage in entrepreneurship that's going to be beneficial to you. You could be just one book, one sale, one connection away from reaching the best part of entrepreneurship yet. But don't allow the things I've also previously talked about stop you. The lack of support is going to be up and it's going to be down. One minute you're going to have 1,000 people shouting your name, undergirding you, cheering for you, being your largest support system. And another season may change, and then you could find yourself being by yourself. But trust me, God is always there. Stay focused and don't let the lack of support or belief in others stop you from doing what you were created to do. Keep your hand on that plow in your business and keep digging. You'll get there. Point number 5 has everything to do with the mistakes that I made. Just like you, I've made my share of mistakes in entrepreneurship. I was faced with various factors to include the belief in myself, but one of the number one things that hurt my business and is probably hurting my business now, I truly believe, and that is underpricing my products and services. You see, when you have a heart for people, you hear their stories and you have a high tendency to lower the price to make sure that the people you're talking to are able to get in the room. Well, what I didn't know at that time, which I've quickly learned now, was actually hurting my business and hurting the flow, meaning the cash flow within my business. Although I love people, I realize that a lot of people don't value lower pricing. A lot of people would rather feel that if you price things high, then that must mean it must be worth it. I didn't see it that way at first. I have to own this. You see, some of the struggles that I faced and have faced throughout my business were out of my control. However, there were certain ones beyond a shadow of a doubt was all on me. One of the number one things I did is that I threw caution to the wind and I lowered the pricing of my products and services. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth would you do that knowing better? Why would you do that, Tien? Well, it's because I cared about people. I honestly thought that if I kept the prices low, that more people would get in the room. What I quickly found out is that that's not always the case. And sometimes when you lower your price at a certain threshold, you will attract people that you really do not want to be a part or be in the room of where you're doing your business at. And so I suffered as a result of underpricing my very own products and services. So what have I learned since doing that? The number one thing I learned is that you never underprice something that's valuable to you. You price it accordingly. And those that want to truly be in the room, those that truly want your products and services will be there. You won't have to twist arms and you'll be able to sleep more peacefully at night when you price things in accordance to its value. You see, one thing I've learned in business is that you stop looking at the price and you look at the value. Your job as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, is to price things based on value. When you do that, that means it gives you room to over deliver. And that price really won't matter anymore. See, the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I thank goodness I never made this mistake, but the problem with a lot of people is they underprice and they also under deliver. Huge mistake. You always want to price things accordingly, but you always go above and beyond whatever it is you're saying that you're offering. So entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, do yourself a favor. Never devalue whatever product or service that you are going to be bringing into your chosen marketplaces. Always, always price accordingly and over deliver. That gives your customers a huge surprise, a huge craving for more, as well as they know that when it comes to your products and services, not only are they going to get what you said that you were going to give, but you're always going to over deliver. You're going to meet their expectation and you're going to exceed it every single time. So tell me, what mistakes have you made in your business and what lessons did you learn as a result of those mistakes? I would love to hear back from you. I want to thank you for joining me for these 5 points when it comes to the realness of entrepreneurship. Like I've said before, entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, please, for the sake of your own sanity and of course the lifeline of your business, make sure you stay in control of the financial matters in your business. If at any point during your journey you feel overwhelmed, tired, frustrated, or should I say burnout, make sure you take control of those situations and you pay close attention to them and you do whatever is necessary to get through those situations. Also, don't think just because you tell everyone from the moon to the earth about your business, your products and services, that they are all going to follow suit and invest into those things. Don't be surprised when you look around and you have no one there but yourself. And maybe your spouse, if there be one, or maybe someone that's really close to you. That's the only support you get along your journey. It's okay. Keep pushing, keep striving, and don't be afraid to collaborate and reach out to those that are able to help you get over that hump you may face in entrepreneurship. Also, when it comes to social media platforms, let me be the first to tell you, find the ones that best fit you and work those areas. Just know you're not in control of those algorithms. And one day it may be a high and the next day it may be a low. But just know not every day is going to be a win on social media. And no, that algorithm is not favorable to every single one of us. But you know that going in. And so I'm going to be the first to tell you, in this thing called social media, you got to learn to roll with the punches. Sometimes you got to punch back, but find the platform that works for you. And lastly, as you're going along this journey called entrepreneurship, know this: you're going to make mistakes. They are going to happen, but never be so pigeon-held into that business that you lose sight of the signs of the pivot. If it's time for you to make shifts, then shift. If it's time for you to make changes, then make those changes. But do whatever you need to do to make sure that you are building a sustainable business. I'm the Educated Natural. If you ever want to connect with me, visit my website at www.theeducatednatural.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And also, make sure you hit that like button, leave me a comment below. And if you're not a part of the family here on this YouTube channel, please subscribe. I love meeting new people, and I love hearing the stories that each and every one of you share. So until the next time, make sure you check out the videos on this channel. I'm sure YouTube is going to suggest one just for you. I'll see you next time. Be blessed.